more good players
Okay.
are better than fewer good players.
Is this like when a mountain with snow happens to start tumbling?
Yep. The movie Point Break called, and it wants its main feature back because Georgia football recruiting is officially an avalanche, and Keanu Reeves cannot even stop it. Georgia's got tight ends committing. They've got offensive tackles committing. There are players coming out of everywhere begging to play for Coach Smart, and we are breaking all of it down today on the Locked On Bulldogs podcast.
You are Locked On Bulldogs, your daily podcast on the Georgia Bulldogs. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Clint and Daniel, Locked On Bulldogs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Thanks for making us your first listen. Today's episode brought to you by Birddogs. More on them in a moment. They're the best things your legs can ever feel. Just
more on them. What you can't see on camera is more on them all the moments.
All the moments.
All
by the way,
moments.
Daniel, I think, confused Point Break and Cliffhanger and kind of threw the two together. Because
is there not an avalanche in Point Break?
Point Break is. I mean, I think the new one. Didn't they do that? I mean,
is Point Break even Keanu?
Yeah, it was Keanu. He
okay.
was
all right.
Surfer.
I did that.
I am FBI agent.
Yeah, sure.
That's right. We are talking today three things. We're talking.
Thanks for saving me from the commenters.
No, trust me, Daniel, because those commenters, those Bama fans, be out here. We're talking tight end recruits, an avalanche of more recruits, an offensive line, an avalanche just in his own body.
The man is his own avalanche.
He's his own avalanche, and I dare say I don't want to see what happens when he gets all his momentum headed in one direction. And then lastly, some news roundup from UGA, some potential bad news for the wide receiver side of the ball. Daniel, let's start with Colton Heinrich. He is a tight end recruit, 3-star kid coming
4-star
out
kid. You're looking at the wrong service.
Depending on which service you're doing.
Sure.
6'4", 230, 235. He is big. He's Fort Lauderdale, Florida. He is fast. And he said exactly what all them recruits have been saying, especially the tight end position.
Yep.
Which, by the way, if you don't make him the highest paid position coach, tight end coach in the nation.
Todd Hartley gets what Todd Hartley wants.
I mean,
exclusively.
I mean, it's kind of like, but my kid asked me the other day, would I rather be a business that sold 1 million things for 1 cent or sold one thing for $1 million? Right?
Wow.
I know.
Your kid.
I know.
Should he be a guest on the Dad Pod? People are asking.
People are asking. It's all the fatherhood wisdom that I've given him that clearly made him that way. Todd Hartley is the guy that says, no, I'll just sit with $6 million things.
I'll sell. What if I sell 1 million things for $1 million?
Okay,
and
what if I just did that? This kid is big, fast, athletic. He has said, I'm coming to UGA because they know how to utilize tight ends. They know what they're doing with tight ends.
That's right.
And they know how to get playmakers in space, and they know how to get guys to the league. This is what he's saying. This is what his family's saying, and they are out here. And this is, again, part of that recruiting. Looks like Dylan has his version of the Oscar Delp, of the Brock Bowers. Of the Luckies. This is the next line that
they just keep coming, and the reason they keep coming is the way that Georgia utilizes this position is like no one else in college football is doing it. Not only are they are designing schemes that feature the tight ends heavily, not only are they running multiple tight end packages often, if not darn near all the time.
Yeah.
But they're also putting tight end after tight end into the National Football League, Clint. And
it's insane.
I mean, you go all the way back and you got guys, you got John Fitzpatrick getting drafted into the National Football League. You got guys that weren't really featured at all at Georgia.
Charlie
Warner got taken in the 4th round.
NFC playoff team.
And And now, you fast forward to obviously the Darnell Washingtons of the world, and next year Brock Bowers is just going to follow right in his footsteps. Oscar Delp looks like he's primed to be the next one. It's a wealth of riches that Georgia has in this tight end room, and it doesn't show any signs of stopping. Number one, because Mike Bobo is here. The offensive system is what it is. It's going to just continue. All of these recruits seem to be very worried about the offensive play caller going to the NFL. How will we replace him? All of these recruits seem to be real upset about it.
That's a head-scratching thing, Daniel. If you were to tell me that we lost to the best offensive coordinator in college football,
which we did,
should have steered recruits away from us.
Yeah, but you would think that would hurt us. But when you make a great hire and you bring in a guy that was basically co-running the offense last year, and now he's going to have the whole thing to himself this year, and then you keep a guy in the fold like, again, pay the man, Todd Hartley.
Pay the man.
He's the best recruiter that Georgia has had in a long time.
We know who Georgia's had. Commenters, fans.
It's a crazy list of recruiters.
My man
Georgia's
knows
had,
who he's stating. He's there. That Todd Hartley is above, and he is factually correct.
It's crazy what this guy has been able to do. Not only the tight ends, but the guys that he's listed as lead recruiter on, not just tight ends. I mean, this guy goes out and recruits a lot of key players for the University of Georgia. Todd Hartley, a man. Cole Heinrich. Super excited about him. Excited to have him come into Athens.
By the way, can we need to rethink of this? We can't call these kids tight ends anymore. These guys that we have coming in, they're not tight ends.
Offensive weapon.
We're gonna start a name game. We're gonna continue on this podcast to find the perfect term. I'm gonna lead. Okay. I'm gonna call the position the breaker position.
The point breaker.
The break.
That's called a callback in the business. You could learn a thing or two. This is
breaker.
Really, okay.
The game breaker breaks open an offense, breaks down the seam, breaks
the defensive end breaker.
I'm gonna propose breaker. Commenters, leave us in the comments what you think about that. We're gonna come back after this, talk about another recruit that's in the fold for us, and
do they get smaller?
He's going to need both those seats on
do
the
they
bus.
get smaller the recruits, or do they get larger?
But first, Birddog. I don't know if we've told you or if you've heard from us how incredible these shorts are. And when I say incredible these shorts, I don't mean just the quality, just the fit, just the feel. I don't mean any of that. What I mean is from A to Z, the experience with these shorts, the whole thing. Daniel, that was very.
I was going to say they're the total package, but I thought that was a bit too on the nose.
And yet they are.
They are.
They're fantastic.
These are the most comfortable shorts you're going to wear. I mean, just period. These are the most comfortable shorts you're going to wear. I don't know how else to tell it.
We're not exaggerating. We're not joking. We have tried them. We have them. Birddogs has sent us over. We've tried them on, and they are fantastic. We're repeat customers already. Daniel has been, when I found out about Birddog, he's like, "Where have you been, you absolute moron, Clint?"
I've been wearing it for a while.
Yeah, I'm now part of the bandwagon. You need to get over there too. Birddogs.com/LockedOnCollege, promo code LockedOnCollege. You get a free Yeti-style tumbler with every single order that you make over at Birddogs.com/LockedOnCollege, promo code LockedOnCollege. Get over there right now. Okay.
All right, Clint. Recruit number 1 in the books.
Sure.
Big tight end, big offensive weapon. Plays the breaker position. Breaker.
Look, brainstorm got to start somewhere.
Plays the avalanche position, if you will.
Now we're talking.
Let's talk about offensive tackle, because Georgia, I think maybe a little under the radar, kind of snuck out there and lands this offensive tackle recruit, 3-star kid coming in. What do you make of this signing, and what jumps out to you when you look at this kid?
This is actually this stands out for 2 reasons. One, we saw under Sam Pittman a very, very stereotypical offensive linemen that Georgia went and got. They were bigger than big. Sam Pittman liked his offensive lineman like he enjoyed his ribs buffet. And that was always more.
Big.
Just more of it is what he was after. He enjoyed the offensive line the same way. And then all of a sudden, when we had Matt Luke come in, we had a shift in philosophy.
Mm-hmm.
We scaled down. We had more athleticism. Mm-hmm. We saw many more zone run scheme type deal. And now we have Amaris Mims, who's a very, very large gentleman. We have Broderick Jones, who last year, very, very large gentleman. So I'm not saying they're getting smaller by any means, but I am saying they got it more athletic. They're not the typical maulers. All of a sudden, Marcus Harrison comes in 6'8", 335.
I'm sorry. Say the numbers again. I blacked out.
Okay. So Nikola, the Joker.
Nikola Jokic, yeah.
Just imagine him playing tackle for you.
Oh, I see. And
then add more weight onto him. Because that's what's happening here. 6'8", 335.
7 foot wingspan. I mean, the kid is a mountain.
He's a mountain.
And
from New York. We have a history of getting New York big, bad offensive tackles.
Here's the thing: is Kirby, Coach Searles, the staff sees this kid. They love this kid. They offer this kid. Recruiting service is not even really on this kid yet.
No, not yet.
Not even really understanding about him. But I'm not sure if you know this about the Georgia football staff.
The people.
They don't care about the stars. They, unlike most NFL GMs, know what football is and know what good football players are.
Do you get the sense that, there's some insider, there's some guy that just thinks he is the hottest stuff on earth that comes in with all these recruiting stars and comes to Coach Smart and says, well, Coach Smart, if you look at my packet here, here's the players you should be looking after. And Kirby's the type of guy that just looks at it and tosses it into the rubbish bin real quick, just throws it on down in there. And then he goes and says, I'm going to find the best players that are to me. And if you so happen to agree with me, recruiter, that's great.
That's great.
I don't agree with you. You might agree with me in my
You watch what I do. I don't care what you do.
There you go. That's it.
It's sort of like Alabama fans and Georgia fans. They watch what we do, but we don't really care.
You better be real careful right now, Daniel.
They do.
Be real careful right now.
Do you want me to do more research before I say things like this?
Look. He is on your side.
Not always. All right. It's a get for this Georgia coaching staff. It's more depth at the tackle position, which honestly I thought Georgia could use. They're probably going to take another tackle.
2024. I was going to say so far 2024, he's the highest that we got so far.
I think we're going to take another tackle as well.
Yes.
And so you would expect that there's never going to be a class that Georgia doesn't sign at least one offensive tackle. You would think.
We get another.
And this guy is a significant pickup in more ways than one for this Georgia team. All right, Clint, that kind of does it for the recruiting news. We're coming back, segment 3 for the 199 to talk about a bit of more unfortunate news for the Georgia football team right after this.
The 199 are here. Welcome, 199. We're all glad that you are here with us.
People, let's talk about some comments, Clint. People are asking in the comments. Some comments are helpful. People are saying in the comments, we want to support the show, but you say the things that we should do too fast.
Okay, look.
You should slow down.
You don't want that.
That's what they say they want.
Okay, let's try.
People love the banter.
They love the banter, so let's try it. To be part of the 199, you go to bonfire.com /store/the 199.
There's also a link in the description of this episode right here.
So
you can go down there
I'm wearing right
and
now.
click that. Also, Here comes the death merch. It's the greatest line. I can't remember the commenter's name on YouTube who dropped it, but the Kirby death merch. It's unbelievable. How did we not come up with that, Clint?
Look, Daniel, we're two morons.
Hey, go get the death merch if you want. Bonfire.com/store/the199. That's how you can do that. You can also support the show by downloading and subscribing to the audio version of this podcast. Please. Go to Apple Podcasts.
Helps your boy Spotify. Bring this podcast to you like you want. Keeps the banter going.
Get that thing downloading on your phone. Even if you watch on YouTube regularly, if that's your regular go-to thing, go over to the Apple Podcast side, leave us a rating and review. And then if you really like us.
Oh, there's a third layer.
If you really like us and you want to support, then you go subscribe to the Dad Pod. There's also a link to that in the episode description right here. It's our other podcast where we talk about all things related to daddom, like how to get your kids to go to sleep and what kind of whiskey you should buy. So just go check that. Oh, that kind right there. That's the kind.
That's the kind.
All right. Let's talk about Marcus Rosemary, Jack St. Clint.
Ben Dukes really quick. We see you. You're alive and well. Keep it up, man.
Thanks for checking in. Weldon Brothers. All right. Michael, I think it's time that you go looking for the Weldon Brothers.
Intern, Sherpa, get out
This is what an intern does. It's time. Swing by, pick up Gurf, and you're out there looking for the Weldon Brothers.
Okay, so the news hit this week. Rosemary Jack St. Arrested.
Yep.
Charged with reckless driving and speeding.
Yep.
Now, we don't have any factual information. There's no police report. There's no court docket. There's no statement. There's no admission of guilt or proven guilt.
Do we have the AJC's comment yet?
AJC, yes. I believe, let me go into, I think they're calling this a war crime.
Kirby Smart's running an underground drug ring.
I think that's what the AJC is saying. I can't. You know what? I can't confirm or deny.
The AJC wrote that story from a yacht.
I don't know if they did or not. That's all I'm saying. You can't prove to me they didn't.
It's hard. It's hard to prove anything.
It's hard to prove anything. So yes, we joke with the AJC, but let's get Rosemary Jack St. With everything that's happened recently at UGA. We're under a microscope now, and for a reason. I'm not going to say good or bad, or if you hate it or not, just for reason. How about that? Okay. And the reason is because stupid decisions are stupid and have severe consequences for folk. Now, we don't know what's going on with this. We don't know what he was speeding, where he was speeding, what the reckless driving was. We do know another thing. Athens PD loves to make themselves the main story of everything in their life. It's Reno 911, but in real life. I know that fact.
But that doesn't mean that. I mean, if speeding and reckless driving is dumb,
it's dumb. And
you shouldn't do it. I shouldn't do it. He shouldn't do it. And if he did it, and there should be consequences.
Should be.
Absolutely. And there will be consequences.
I guarantee you there'll be consequences on this one. To what
do we know what those are? No, we don't. Are we going to sit here on this podcast and speculate about what they are?
No,
we're not.
Are we even going to say what should be the consequences? No, we're not. Because do you know what we are not anything of, Daniel? I don't know. Do you have a law degree of any type?
No, nor do we have any, as you said, factual information about what actually happened other than the charges, which do not give any details as to the details of the crime committed, allegedly committed.
But please, for the love, UGA, give your keys to somebody else.
Just don't. Just
stop.
It's not hard to make good decisions. It just really isn't. And so make better decisions. That being said, how many scholarship football players are there on this team?
Hundreds.
And how many of them have what's the epidemic that Dog Nation's reporting, that Mike Griffith's reporting? What's the by the way, an affiliate of the AJC. What's the epidemic that's happening at Georgia with this? Is like Three people.
Three. I mean, if you want to account, people who've gotten parking tickets, Daniel.
So 2% roughly. 2%.
Well, the parking tickets raises it to 5%.
98%. But that seems like something that will get people to click on things. So yes, let's call it an epidemic. Yes, it's an epidemic. That's what it is. It's an epidemic. We're talking about 20-year-olds driving over the speed limit.
I want not only them to do better driving, I want you, sports talk moron, you do better too. How about that?
Let's all do better, Clint.
Yeah. Daniel, I want you to do better. I want you to eat. I want to eat. I want all of them fans to eat. We're going to come back tomorrow talking about maybe some ludicrous takes on who might make all SEC first, second, third, fourth team, which, by the way,
How many teams could there be?
What are we doing with our lives? Stop doing it.
We need content. So we're doing content. That's what we're doing.
Come back tomorrow. This has been Locked On Bulldogs, part of Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. We will see you all then.
See ya.